Hey guys, and welcome back to Gabbin with Jessa. Today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up. I know it's like the middle of March that this is coming out, but you know what? There's still things that I wanted to talk about, and let's just jump right into it. So February was not the best reading month for me, but it was a really good movie month for me. I only read 5 books, 1 audiobook, 2 ebooks, and 2 physical books. I only read a few amount of comics. I read 3 individual issues and 1 trade paperback, but I did get to see 12 movies. It was awesome. Now, some of these movies are ones that I've seen before or that have been out for a while, but I still like to include them on this list just because it's a new experience for me. Maybe I haven't seen them in a while. Maybe I was experiencing it with someone else, and I was really looking forward to this. So let's talk about them. So the first book that I finished up this month was Hidden Figures by Margot Lee Shetterly. This is about the African-American women who were a part of NASA's space program. They were the brilliant mathematicians who never really got any credit for any of their work, but they are the reason why NASA had so much success during the civil rights movement. It was a really inspiring story. It was a lot of fun to listen to and just made me just very happy, very proud just of what has happened and where things are going, and that their story was being told, and that there are powerful women out there doing amazing things, and now more of their stories are being shown to light, and this book was absolutely amazing. The next book I finished in February was Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. I will have a full review of this up in the near future, but I absolutely love this book. I did give it 5 out of 5 stars. It was just such an interesting way to look at a problem that seems to be like it should be easily fixed by just communicating to people, but in reality, sometimes it doesn't work that way. And this really inspired me as well, just like Hidden Figures, and it made me more conscious and more aware of everything, but I will be giving a full review on it, so check that out. Next on my Kindle, I read Alex and Eliza by Melissa De La Cruz. This is a historical fiction story of Alexander Hamilton and Eliza Schuyler, them meeting for the first time. This is part of a trilogy, and it's kind of just like a reimagining in a way of things that might have led to them falling in love. It was written in a very modern time. I will also have a review of this up in the near future, but if you are a Hamilton stan like myself, I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun to read. I've never really read anything like this before with historical romance, historical fiction thing. And so I really enjoyed it, and I do recommend it, especially if you are interested or have become a new fan of Alexander Hamilton, maybe because of the musical. Also on my Kindle, I was able to finish A Whole New World by Liz Braswell. This is the first in the Twisted Tales series by this author. It is where she takes something that happened in one of these Disney fairy tales and twists it around a little bit. This one was based on Aladdin, and it asks us the question, what would have happened if Aladdin didn't get the lamp, if Jafar ended up getting the lamp and getting control of the genie at first? And so it takes a story of Aladdin. It starts out pretty much the exact same as the animated film does, but then it completely turns on its head. This is a lot more dark than the animated film is, kind of for Disney too, which I actually really liked, but I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was a great way to reimagine this, and honestly, maybe this is how the Disney remake should be going, or to make them like this, because I have enjoyed the story and I can't wait to read the next one. And I finished off this reading month by reading Watchmen by Alan Moore. This is a graphic novel from the 80s from DC. This is the new HBO show. This is what that was based off of, and I counted this in my book instead of in my trade paperback. One, because it is hardcover, but also because there's a lot more stories in this than are usually included in a trade paperback, whereas trade paperbacks are kind of like chapters, you could say, of a longer story sometimes. Sometimes they're just individual, but this one I considered in my book reading because this was one whole story. It started with episode 1, or chapter 1 as they're called, and ended with chapter 12, and that is the Watchmen story. Now there are some spin-offs where you get to learn more about the individual characters, but I did give this 4 out of 5 stars, probably more towards like 4.5 out of 5 stars, but Goodreads doesn't let you do halves, and because of my weird grading system, that's how I rate these. But this was absolutely stunning to read. It was a really interesting look on just a more mature, this is definitely for more mature readers. This isn't for your average readers, I will say, who might be reading comic books and not really for kids, but this was very in-depth. This was very, like hard-hitting, and it was absolutely amazing. I had the best time reading this. All right, so for comics, like I said, I read 3 individual issues and 1 trade paperback. The individual issues I read, I started off reading the X-Men because I was very interested to start. I love the idea of people who just feel like they don't belong, but trying to make themselves bond together and form and just want to belong to society. So I read the first half of volume 1 of the new series by Jonathan Hickman. So that included X-Men #1, X-Men #2, and X-Men #3. So once I'm finished reading the first 6 of these, I will give a full long review on what my thoughts were for this and giving ratings for each individual issue in that one, because the first trade paperback would include issues 1 through 6, and that's how I'm going to be going about reviewing and ranking and talking about my comic book reading. The trade paperback that I got to this month was Captain America Volume 2, Captain of Nothing. Now, I'm going to be doing a full review on this one as well because it does have spoilers for Volume 1 in the very beginning, so I'll be talking about that and giving my review for that later on. Now let's get to the movies. I was able to see so many movies. 4 of them I was able to see on DVD, 2 of them I saw on streaming services, and 6 of them I saw in the theaters. So the DVD ones that I saw were Love, Simon, The Lovely Bones, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and Moonrise Kingdom. Now, out of these movies, I had already seen Love, Simon and The Grand Budapest Hotel before. The Grand Budapest Hotel is probably my favorite movie of all time, next to The Devil Wears Prada, and still rewatching it, I was able to fall in love with it again. I also watched Moonrise Kingdom because I've never really seen many Wes Anderson films, only ones I was kind of forced to watch in classes like Fantastic Mr. Fox, which was really good too. But it's something about the Grand Budapest Hotel that just hits me every time that I love. And then I also saw Love, Simon for the second time and The Lovely Bones because of my book versus movie series, so you could check out my reviews on those as well. On streaming service, I saw P.S. I Still Love You, which was the second into the All the Boys I Loved Before. This one I didn't really like as much as the first one. I thought it lost a little bit of its whimsy. It just didn't really click with me as much, and I thought it was a really good job. I think Jordan Fisher did an amazing job as John Ambrose McLaren. He was a lot of fun, and of course Lana and Noah were amazing in their roles again. It is a fun movie. I just didn't enjoy it as much as the first one. And then also on YouTube, which I'm counting in streaming services, I saw Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is like an old Batman cartoon. And it was so much fun. And I've never seen any Batman cartoons before, and this is like Mark Hamill Joker, and it was so much fun. I loved it a lot more than I thought I was going to, and it was just a lot of fun. And in theaters, I saw Bad Boys for Life, Birds of Prey, The Rhythm Section, The Last Full Measure, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Impractical Jokers the movie. Now, out of all of these movies that I've seen, The Last Full Measure was my favorite one. I did mostly go see it because I am a Sebastian Stan. I love him so much, and he was amazing in this movie. This also has Addison Stoodall in it, who, if you're a fan of the Fantastic Beasts movies, she plays Queenie, and it was really good. My boyfriend and I were the youngest ones in the theater. It was all a bunch of grandparents in there. The story is about Sebastian Stan's character trying to get the Medal of Honor for this fallen soldier from the Vietnam War after he was rejected it because his parents are dying, and Sebastian Stan really wants to be able to get this for them so that he can be truly honored. But then along the way, Sebastian Stan's character, who isn't based off of a real person, it's just kind of a mixture of everyone, kind of like Margot Robbie's character in Bombshell. He follows the story of all the soldiers that were with the one soldier during this time, and even though Sebastian Stan's character isn't real, everyone else is. And it was very heart-touching. It was just a really good story about what true bravery means in a time where you don't know really why you're there or what you're doing, and it was really, really good. Sebastian Stan, I haven't really seen him in much besides I, Tonya, and then of course as the Winter Soldier in all of the Marvel movies, and this was his first kind of more serious role that I watched, again besides from I, Tonya, because that was a little bit of a a different role, but I really like him. I think that he has a really great range and that he was doing a really great job, and I just hope that I see more of this from him soon. I don't really have much to say about Bad Boys for Life or the rhythm section. The rhythm section wasn't as good as I was hoping it was going to be. Maybe I just have to read the book about that first because it is based off of a book. So maybe if I read that, then it'll make more sense to me. With Bad Boys for Life, I actually did have a really good time. I have not seen any of the Bad Boys movies before. I know this is part of like a series. So I kind of went into this knowing nothing, and I had a really good time. Like, it was a lot more fun than I thought. For Birds of Prey, I actually did really enjoy that as well. I haven't really seen much from DC, and so I really didn't know what to go in thinking about this, but Margot Robbie is absolutely fantastic. I have nothing more to say other than she is fantastic. She is great as Harley Quinn, and just a lot of fun to watch. I already gave my reviews on Sonic, so you guys can check those out. And then for the Impractical Jokers movie, The Impractical Jokers is something that my college roommates and I watched all the time. It was always on in our apartment, and I really didn't know what to expect from the movie. It's great. It is, my theater was like packed. I was so surprised. I thought I was gonna be like the only one in there, but we all had a good time in the theater. It was like a combination of a actual movie with like a plot line, but then also like their TV show was just thrown in there, just kind of set up how like their normal TV show is. But it was so much fun. I want to go see it again. It was the best way to end February. Okay, and that is all of the books, comics, and movies that I got into for the month of February. Again, I apologize that this is coming up so late, but let me know if you read any of these books, if you read any of these comics, if you saw any of those movies. Please let me know what you think and more down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all those fun things, and until next time, keep on gabbing.